This is 6 Minutes, the seriously international daily newscast. It's Tuesday, March the 25th. I'm Anne-Sophie Goninet.
And I'm Gabriele Magro. It's time to start the day in Montevideo while people are preparing dinner in Manila. Here in the Work Crunch newsroom in Paris, it's just after midday. These are the latest headlines. Protests in Turkey over the arrest of Erdogan's main political rival continued for a sixth night in a row. Ukrainian and US officials are meeting again in Riyadh later today to discuss a broader peace plan. And our daily quiz question comes from Italy's capital city. Our top story today is the large crowds gathering in Istanbul for the sixth day in a row to protest the detention of Istanbul mayor and opposition leader Ekrem İmamoğlu. Demonstrators accuse President Recep Tayyip Erdogan of silencing rivals, including other arrests of political opponents in recent days. The Turkish president has blamed opposition parties for provoking a, quote, movement of violence. The CHP, the country's main opposition party, had announced İmamoğlu as its presidential candidate on Monday and said the protests will end today, but didn't clarify what the next steps would be.
Erdogan's crackdown, which aimed at silencing dissent, has quickly sparked a nationwide movement that could shape Turkey's political future. For Turkish journalist Can Dündar, writing in German weekly Die Zeit, this attempt to squash democracy may be Erdogan's ultimate political miscalculation. If they were a step-by-step guide for autocrats, Erdogan is following it to the letter, writes Dündar. He seems to be taking a page straight out of Vladimir Putin's playbook. Jail your opponents, silence the media, ban political parties, spread fear, secure your throne at all costs. But he miscalculated. Erdogan may have decided to become the next Putin, but the people of Turkey have made it clear they do not want to become the next Russia. Can the Turkish people save what's left of their democracy? That will depend on how far Erdogan is willing to go to cling to power, whether the opposition can stand together, and how much courage the people can muster.
Ukrainian and US delegations are scheduled to meet later today in Saudi Arabia to discuss a broader peace plan, following US-Russia talks focused on a Black Sea ceasefire. Meanwhile, a Ukrainian rocket strike in occupied Donetsk reportedly killed 6 people, including 2 Russian journalists. In Brazil, a 5-judge panel from the Supreme Court has begun deliberations on whether former President Jair Bolsonaro and close allies should stand trial for attempting a coup following his 2022 electoral defeat. The court is expected to decide by Wednesday whether to proceed with charges accusing Bolsonaro of conspiring to overthrow the Brazilian government. Now let's take a closer look at what the international press is covering.
The American media is reacting to what US Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer described as one of the most stunning breaches of military intelligence ever. On Monday, it was reported that key figures in the Trump administration accidentally broadcasted highly sensitive military plans through a Signal group chat with a journalist reading along. According to reporting in The Atlantic, its editor-in-chief Jeffrey Goldberg was accidentally invited into a Signal chat group with more than a dozen senior Trump administration officials, including Vice Presidents J.D. Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Argentine daily El Día de la Plata is dedicating its front page to the march organized across Argentina on Monday to commemorate the 49th anniversary of the country's 1976 military coup that ushered in a brutal dictatorship. The march also served as a protest against President Javier Milei's right-wing government. Milei has contested the number of victims estimated to have died or disappeared in the 1976-1983 junta's dirty war on suspected political dissidents.
We are closing things out today with a daily quiz question, which comes from Italy's capital city. Pope Francis has left Gemelli Hospital after a month-long battle with pneumonia. Romans were able to celebrate the good news with the coincidental release of Hallelujah. What is it? A. A new fragrance at the Fiumicino airport. B. Giorgio Armani's Vatican-themed collection. C. A new flavor of gelato. Or D. The theme song for the 2025 Jubilee. The correct answer is C. To celebrate Pope Francis' release from hospital, Roman gelato makers debuted a new ice cream flavor called Hallelujah. Featuring gianduja, a blend of milk chocolate and hazelnut, the new flavor aims at honoring the Pope's recovery while raising funds for homeless support ahead of Gelato Day.
That's the latest from around the world. If you like this podcast, would really appreciate it if you could help us out with a follow, share, and a 5-star rating on your preferred podcasting platform. For more of the best of the international press delivered exclusively in English, visit us at worldcrunch.com. We'll see you here tomorrow. Ciao!